Hey y'all, Chelsea and Danny here.
Enjoy this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. This week on Today's Homeowner, we're helping this couple get a grip on their garage. And this is a two-fisted job, so you don't want to miss it.
Oh my gosh, don't look behind there. I don't know what's behind there. Holy wow, I haven't seen this in like 2 years.
In most homes, the garage becomes the great dumping ground. And that's exactly where Brent and Shelby find themselves.
There's just stuff here I didn't even know we had.
3 years ago, they built this house on a large piece of property with lots of great spaces to relax because they both have very busy schedules. Shelby's a popular local radio DJ, and Brent's a firefighter and paramedic.
I'm 90 to nothing for most of the day, and then when I'm downtime, it's my downtime. I mean, I like to read, I love to listen to music, I love to hang out with our dogs.
When these two married 6 years ago, they combined their stuff, and that's contributed to the chaos in their garage, which begs the question, whose garage is it?
I think it's definitely mine, but she gets to park her car in it, so I don't know how that works. Because everything else in it is just about mine.
No, what's mine is
ours.
Mine, and what's yours is mine. So it's mine.
Ours.
So you have the two workbenches, but they're all full of junk, so you had to buy another table to work.
To do work, which actually I do most of it on the tailgate of my pickup. Just
I
saying.
know, we have a problem.
With all the hobbies, every project or hobby has a little corner or a little piece of the garage.
Honey, what are you gonna do with that lumber?
I'm gonna make beanbag games.
Oh, cool, like cornhole?
Cornhole.
Oh, cool, when are you gonna do that? He's like me a lot. We both each start a project and maybe not complete it. And so I've been kind of making these little signs and stuff. Well, I started, and then I kind of stopped.
So what are their hopes for the garage?
We talked about either a sink or some way to bathe the dogs, so that's why we want hot and cold in the garage.
Or a dog
and
shower.
Also, just storage and getting things up off the floor.
I love
whether it be
cabinets.
Cabinets and shelves.
Or whatever.
And,
or
those
anything.
kind of things.
So all of that really doesn't make sense to be together like that, but it's just kind of where it ended up.
Now, what are they willing to give up?
There's some things I think that have to be used yet that I had planned for future projects. Because someday I think that I can save the solar panel part or the bulb part.
This drives me nuts.
And assemble 3 or 4
I
of
see
these
that for just 1
broken
second?
ones back together.
Can I see that for a second? Okay, thanks.
No, the solar panel's good.
Early the next morning, Brent and I get started while Shelby is still at the radio station. I think what we need to do right now is, before Shelby gets here, I know she'll be here in a little while, is go ahead and maybe just make some piles out here on what you know is going to be thrown away. We probably have some fun with that, throwing some stuff in there that she didn't
Oh yeah, I have some ideas.
throw away.
You can make that smaller.
So we get busy moving the piles in the garage out to piles in the driveway. Iron Man, impressive.
Long day. Probably the longest day of my life besides my wedding. Except
You better watch it.
all I had to do on the wedding day was show up.
But the throwaway pile isn't getting big enough fast enough. Ah, you're finally throwing something away.
I might sneak out here tonight and grab 2 of them back, but have to have something in that pile.
What do you do when you have a nut or bolt that's stuck on there and you can't get it off? Well, there are a couple of techniques. First, you can try putting a little penetrating oil on the nut or bolt and see if that loosens it up. Next, you can use what's called a cheater bar, which is simply a pipe that slips onto the wrench handle, gives you extra leverage. I've tried both of those techniques and I still can't get this bolt off. So what I tried to do next was add some heat. I heated this nut up a couple of times already. I'm gonna do it one more time, but the heat expands the nut or bolt, and then when it cools off, it contracts. And you do it again and it expands and contracts. And that expansion and contraction will often break the bond that's holding the nut or bolt in place. So all you need to do is get a propane torch, light it up, and you usually have to heat it for at least 3 or 4 minutes. But like I said, I've already done this. I just put the flame within almost an inch away. Make sure it's turned off all the way, and then try. I may need to use the cheater bar on this. There you go. It's loosened up. Now this tip works great, but remember you're working with an open flame, so be sure there are no combustible materials anywhere near the work site.
There.
Oh my gosh, don't look behind there. I don't know what's behind there.
This week we're helping homeowners Shelby and Brent get a grip on their garage.
There's a car radio from like 1983, I think, that's in there.
You know that never got put in anything.
Shelby's been at work while Brent and I cleared out the garage, so she's getting her first glimpse of it empty.
I bet
honey.
you haven't seen the garage this empty in a long time. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
We got it empty.
Is that what all the stuff is?
Kind of went through a lot of stuff and got it ready to throw away because we got the throwaway pile here.
Don't wait a minute. Those are my brand new cowboy boots.
Huh? He said you didn't need
That
those.
is my
That's the
animal
stuff we
fur
can
vest.
do without.
This is my most favoriteest ever.
Oh, he said you didn't need any of this.
I thought that looked like an old rug or something to throw away.
No, and my purse and my sunglasses and my popcorn maker. You're in trouble. So you were in on this together.
No, he made me do it.
Oh.
He made me do it.
My gosh, this is a lot of stuff.
But we're going to continue going through this and some other things, but you're about to go to carpentry school.
Okay.
And even though you have somewhat of a weak instructor with Alan, we'll still give you a chance to help him build something that we think will help a lot on the inside.
Maybe I can teach him something.
There you go.
All right, so you need storage, right?
Yes,
All right, so I've got
absolutely.
8 of these things. But we don't want to just stack these because you want to be able to get one and not have to move everything else, right?
Right.
So you and I are going to build a container of sorts
Okay.
that we'll be able to slide these into individually.
A container for containers?
Container for containers.
Okay.
And we're going to surround your freezer with it.
Oh, I see. So kind of
So
go
come
to
up,
each side and
Each side and shelving on top. How about that?
wow, that's awesome.
After a little training on layout and power tool safety,
Bam, bam.
That's it.
Shelby's ready to go.
Now, if you want to make it
Do
easier.
you want me to sign this?
No.
Okay, just checking. Okay.
There you go.
How's that?
Good, I need 2 more of those.
Gosh, do I get overtime?
Meanwhile, Brent and I are getting the garage ready for a cool addition. This should be a lot of fun, and the only thing that you need to install this, and this. So, should be kind of interesting. Let's see what this stuff looks like. These PVC tiles from Norris are great for a garage because they're slip resistant and tough, but they provide more cushion than the concrete slab, so there's less fatigue when standing on them in the garage. The interlocking design of these things make them very easy to install. Just tap them in place with a rubber mallet. Any necessary cuts can be made with a utility knife, but I've opted to speed it up a little bit with my table saw. Yeah, see, if we go ahead and run that all the way down to the end, we can see if this is going to work out as well. It's definitely not going to work out to the 8-inch increments. We're not that lucky, but I am impressed with this stuff. And the edging and all, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yep, works pretty good.
Back outside, Alan and Shelby have made some great progress on the storage container racks. Once they have the 2x4 frames assembled and attach the plywood shelves to connect them, they move on to a solution for that odd-shaped alcove that was full of inaccessible space. Essentially, they're building a big drawer from 1x4s and plywood that'll roll in and out of the alcove to give Brent and Shelby access to the back of the space. Meanwhile, Brent and I complete most of the flooring before he has to head back to the firehouse.
Hey, looking good in here.
Wow, oh my gosh.
Y'all not bringing in a stretcher. It hadn't been that bad. Hey, it has been kind of lonely in here since Brett left a little while ago. What do you think about that?
That's so cool. That is awesome.
What I'm going to do, Danny, is I'm going to attach that to the back. It's got wings, and actually it'll act as a stop.
And then you're going to measure down 2 legs.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. Well, I got 2 more pieces to cut, and
okay.
I'll be through with this one.
Oh, very good.
All right. Once the drawer is complete,
All right, 19 7/8, 19 and a half.
Okay.
That's our leg.
19 7/8, 19 and a half.
That's it.
Sweet. What was that again?
Alan and Shelby can move on to finishing their new creations.
All right, Shelby, I made it useful. You got to make it pretty.
Okay.
All right, so I've got a paint gun for you right here.
A paint sprayer is ideal for painting things like these shelves because it gets into all those nooks and crannies that would take forever with a brush. This one from Wagner is what's called a high-volume, low-pressure sprayer, and it puts out a lot of paint in a very controlled manner, so you can finish in no time at all. After the primer goes on and dries, they'll finish up both pieces with 2 coats of black paint to make these 2 pieces blend in with the new floor and make this garage look as good as it functions.
Well, I am in my favorite part of the store. I'm in the tools section, and I'm going to talk to you about a pretty common tool just about everybody has, and that's the hacksaw. And the hacksaw is great for cutting plastic or metal, but you know what? Sometimes you can't get into those tight spots, so sometimes your little hacksaw can't hack it. But take a look at this. DeWalt's come out with a 5-in-1 hacksaw, and again, it's perfect. It works just like a hacksaw. But what I like best about it is it converts actually into a jab saw right at your fingertips. Because this handle right here, when you take it apart, has a little blade right in here. You pop that on, and you can get some nice rigid cuts with that. This area right here also stores extra blades, so they're always at your fingertips. But what I really like about this is the fact that you can put this tension up to 330 pounds with just a twist of this little knob right here. You can really increase the tension. It can convert to a low profile saw. It can also be a long reach saw. It can convert very easily into a jab saw. So this is the perfect addition to your toolbox.
The first day of our garage project with Brent and Shelby went off without a hitch, and now we're ready to put it all back together. Hey, good morning. There you are.
Good morning. Good morning. Looks good.
So you worked all night long? How was the shift at the firehouse?
We got up a couple times, but I'm all right. It was good.
Got a little bit of sleep?
Got some sleep.
Good, good. Well, ready for day 2. We got everything in good shape here. Alan's already got most of the racks completely built, painted, paint's dry enough. All we need to do is get this thing centered a little bit, and we'll start bringing some of that stuff in. The size and shape of the rack makes it a little awkward to carry, but it's light enough that the job is fairly easy.
So how many times did my wife second guess you yesterday?
At least twice.
That's it? Oh, you got off easy.
Apparently, Alan had it right though, because the storage bins fit into the rack like a glove. With the rack in place, we can begin experimenting with the placement of the other large items around it to get the most efficient use of the space. Brent's also getting his first look at the slide-out storage device Alan and Shelby finished after he left yesterday.
I've actually got some paint touch-up to do on it.
That's gonna work great.
I think it'll be nice.
It's like a monster drawer.
Yeah, and then you pull it out and see it stops, pop, right there, in place.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'll do a little paint touch-up and this will be ready.
And if things get rough inside the house, perfect bed for you there, Brent.
This is the bunk.
Pull it out, put your little pillow on there.
I have a mattress hidden somewhere in one of these totes.
Hey, let me show you something I got going over here.
Okay.
We could get one of the bikes and position it to where it's still up off the ground so that you have still the space underneath it. And we could mount this one here, one there, one there, one there, and you can take care of 2 bicycles right here. The closet rod brackets are easy to mount, and with a little bit of pipe wrap to protect the bike frame, they make a great solution.
I like that. Gets it out of the way, up off the floor. I think
It works great.
It's gonna work good.
You know, Alan's just about finished with that painting over there. Don't you think this workbench would look pretty good painted black?
I think it'd be great painted black.
Hey, buddy. While Picasso does his thing, Brent and I are setting up a corner for lawn and garden tools with a plastic rack he already had and a simple wall hanging bracket we picked up at the home center. And once the painting is complete, Alan and Shelby can take on another project.
All right, you have a few floats here, Shelby,
Yes, can't help it.
and you don't want to deflate them.
No, because honestly, we're probably too lazy. But no, we have a lot of them, and my stepson, my husband's little boy. I mean, we got the whole neighborhood
Gotcha.
that goes in the lake all the time. So.
I have an idea.
Okay.
We're going to net them.
Hey,
How about that, right? And I got a
that's
good
pretty
spot for 'em.
smart. Okay, cool. Yay.
Alan and Shelby are stringing that fishing net between 2 1x2s so that they can hang it from the ceiling above the garage door. So the floats are out of sight when the door is open and accessible when it's closed. Because Shelby's house is so new, her garage door opener is too, and that's another great place to make a garage improvement. An opener with a screw drive operates more smoothly and quietly than one with a chain drive. And this one from Genie features a 140-volt DC motor that has plenty of power to open quickly. A good unit automatically changes its code to protect you from code-grabbing devices, but this one also features a lock-on-the-wall control for extra security. If the power goes out, a battery backup is also a great addition. so is a wireless remote keypad, which allows you access even when you forget your remote control. And if your door fails to fully close because the opener sensor is tripped, a close confirm remote warns you before you get too far away. Now back in Shelby's garage, she's trying to control a different kind of animal.
Gator?
Does Gator have a name?
Yes, it's a gator.
Gator. Creative, very creative.
Thank you.
No wonder you're on the radio.
What a great idea. Someone needs to get a raise for that one.
You think? Look at that.
Check it out. Wow.
Finally, it's time to put the pieces all back together. Hopefully in a little better order than before.
Make sure you know what it is.
Bam.
I got your label.
Yay, I love labels. Awesome, this is my paint. Beautiful.
But now it's time for one final
You may
surprise.
turn around.
Oh my, okay.
Here you go.
Oh my God.
So you wanted to be able to bathe the dog. So this is
Oh my God.
That is too cool.
our friends at Booster Bath gave this to us, and we thought it was the neatest thing in the world.
That is so cool.
It'll fit perfectly right
They'll
in
fit
there.
right in it.
Put them on the collar
On a leash.
so they can't go
that's a
anywhere.
They walk up.
Deal.
Keep your soap.
This little drain that'll run right out into the flower bed right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's perfect.
so
Oh my God.
We didn't have to tear up any
cool.
concrete or
That's right.
anything.
Nothing
That's
at all.
That
perfect.
is awesome.
Anyway.
Oh, that's awesome.
thought you might like
Oh,
that.
I love that.
That's too perfect.
That is the best thing ever.
And plus, you know, we
This is
really
pretty
helped
cool.
Brent out here because now he has a bed
And a bag.
and a bath. And so we're good. Melissa says our wood steps get very slippery. What can I do to keep them safe for my family? Anytime you have wood outside, whether it's a set of steps like this or a wood deck or a walkway, sooner or later it's gonna get dirty, and that means it's going to get slick and dangerous. So the first step in preventing any slip and fall is to clean it thoroughly with a deck cleaner or a deck brightener. That'll open up the pores of the wood and naturally will make it have a little more traction and keep it from being so slippery. But you can also add some of these peel and stick abrasive strips that go right along the front of the steps. That'll help quite a bit. Or you can use some of the larger sizes that are available too, some even with a little fluorescent strip. But I'm also seeing a lot of manufacturers creating an anti-slip, slip-resistant coating that's perfectly clear, and after everything's nice and clean, you spray this over the treads, and that's a very inexpensive way to make your stairs a lot safer. Like most homeowners, Brent and Shelby had a garage that was out of control. There was too much stuff to begin with, and along the way, their attempts to organize just ran out of steam and space. After 2 pretty intense days of work, we've given them back some space, and we've created the organization they wanted so desperately. The tools and materials they need are arranged so that they can be used. The storage space in that alcove can finally be accessed, and there's plenty of room for the hobbies that make their downtime so enjoyable. So I'll tell you, Brent, with all of this space that you have no excuse now not to get some of those projects done.
Well, we found my workbench, so I guess that means I have to go to work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Shelby, the process, did it take longer than you actually thought, and maybe a little harder to part with some of those things?
No, absolutely not. I mean, once we kind of had everything in its proper space and everything organized, it really took a lot shorter than we thought.
How about your favorite new feature?
Gosh, there's so many. You know, from the room that we really didn't realize that we had, the hammock that we did for the outside lake toys.
Up above the garage door.
Yeah, up above the garage door. That was awesome. But probably, I don't know, it's a tie because everything was so awesome. But this beautiful shelving system that I built with your help was amazing. And the fact that we painted the workbenches that we already had, it just looks great. It matches the floor, is awesome. So everything is really, really great.
But your absolute favorite?
But my absolute favorite has to be the doggy bath.
Yeah, I love
Y'all
that.
know that.
That's going to be fun
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah.
Brent and Shelby did something here that a lot of people have a real hard time doing, and that's parting with a lot of things they've had for a lot of years. But that's the first step when you're organizing any area of your home, is to make sure you get rid of a few things. And
We did go to the driving range one time. There's
You
there's
have to
Brent's putter
keep-
right there.
That way I don't miss
The wedge, the monster.
my wedge.
Whoa, easy.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to like, comment, and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of new videos.
And be sure to click around and watch some more videos while you're here.